Hello, everybody. Coming to you live from a remote college in the Northern Kingdom. Sportcat here. I am still not at my home QTH, so I'm playing this on the fly. Welcome to the Grin and Guardian gang. We have a great guest lined up tonight. Thad, if you read the show description, it will change. That was my error. Trying to do too much and being on vacation. Let's see who I have here. I have Miss Cheyenne in the background. How are you?
Fantastic.
Yeah, Grandpa is slow. And then I have Andy in the background in the
Hey.
chat here. How are you, Andy?
Good.
So we have a great author with us tonight that I've been talking with for quite a while, and somehow I screwed up the days and times, but it's just me trying to do too much. Thad Diaz, he's a retired firefighter, and he's got some great stories to tell us. Bring him in here so he can tell us all about it. Hey, Thad, can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you. How y'all doing?
Oh, well.
Doing good.
Aside from we screwing up the show, I'm doing good. I am trying to do too much. I'm on vacation, meeting the new grandchild up in deep northern Vermont, and so I'm trying to do everything remotely, and I just got this one backwards, but other than that, I'm doing good.
Oh, it's a big change from Florida, I can tell you that.
Yeah, well, it's still hot here, but they don't use AC up here. It's the strangest thing. So I'm trying to figure that out. They're like, "Oh, a hot day here is like 80." Oh, okay.
That still requires AC.
Exactly.
I thought so.
Yeah, Florida would be unbearable without air conditioning. I tell you what.
I couldn't imagine. Well, actually, I can. My grandparents are in Mobile, Alabama, and down there in the Gulf Coast. I went to stay with them one summer, and the guest rooms for the kids didn't have AC. So, yeah, it was miserable. So, Thad, you're a retired firefighter. Where were you career out of?
So I did most of my time in Hillsborough County, which is the county that has Tampa in it. But I also did a few years. I did 4 years in Pasco, which is the county north of Hillsborough. So I had a little variety, but most of it was Hillsborough County. 21 years in Hillsborough.
Oh, that's a long time. I did 10 years in DeKalb, just outside of Atlanta, and then 5 years in a little city south of Atlanta. So I'm right there with you.
Actually, yeah, DeKalb County Fire Department.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, my aunt and uncle lived there, and they used to live right down from a DeKalb County firehouse. And I couldn't tell you the number if you're going to ask me, but out in Dunwoody.
Okay. So probably 18. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty station.
Yeah, I was stationed there for a while. So.
Oh well, how about that? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, small world. Now, Andy is a fire photographer up in Maryland, so he gets out around. Was it Gaithersburg, Andy?
No, Washington County.
Washington County. And so, yeah, he's up in the north, and Cheyenne is in the hollers of West Virginia.
Oh, what part of West Virginia?
Fayette County.
My father is from Clarksburg. I've been up there a couple times. Not as often as I should, though, but yeah.
Yeah, I just stick hiding out the holler.
Holler. Yeah, I hear that. My mom is from the western part of Virginia, and that's the holler. That's where they all go across the holler. Yeah. My whole family's Appalachian.
I'll tell you, the weather is much nicer out the holler too. It's
I
always
believe it.
like 10 degrees cooler. You got all the tree coverage.
Well, that's one of the things when I was in North Carolina. I hate to be one of those people like you're from Florida, so your experience is the heat is a completely different thing. I don't like to be that guy that's like, oh, this is nothing compared to Florida. But man, I will tell my wife when we go and they complain about how hot it is, 80 degrees, and then you get under the trees by the mountain breeze and the water's like 50 degrees, and it's the breeze across it's cooling you off. You're like, this is not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't run around telling everybody that. I guess I do on a radio show, but not on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, we'll allow it. So were you an officer there, or were paramedic?
So I promoted to it. Yeah, I worked up through the ranks, and I retired as a captain on an engine company if you're familiar with Hillsborough County in Plant City. We were just north of Plant City. I did I when I got promoted, I got promoted to a busy engine company, and really I would call it an inner city, the only inner city, one of only 2 or 3 stations we had that were true inner city stations, and I ran quite a few calls there. But I finished out in a nice retirement home in the sticks.
That's the plan. You always start at a busy station and end up trying to get out in the Dunwoodies, so to speak. So
Yes, Dunwoody, I would expect, was a nice area, was a nice
Yeah.
station. Yeah, retirement home.
Yeah, well, the one just north of it even more so. So, but they actually had such bad service from DeKalb County up there, they annexed and they built some of their own stations.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't that we have down here. It usually goes the other way around. The cities kind of fold up and the county takes over, but that hasn't happened yet in Hillsborough. So we've got a couple of small cities that are still holding their own down here. Plant City is actually one of them. So
Yeah, it started it was some EMS calls, and of course, there's an EMS shortage, as most people know. So it really wasn't the fire department's fault. They had 35 ambulances, and well, it still wasn't enough.
wow. Well, I mean, it's a suburb of Atlanta, so I would assume it's very populated. You said 35 or 45?
35. They
Still a
had
lot.
they added 10, and they were basic, and due to regulations, they couldn't go on all the calls. So
Right.
yeah, it was a lot. Well, I was I was a fire medic on it, usually either on a TAC unit, which is basically a small rescue truck,
Right.
or an ambulance, a med unit, and we would run 24 calls in a 24-hour shift easily without a problem. So yeah, that's why I only stayed 10 years there.
Yeah, I did quite a few years on rescue when I was working my way up through the ranks, but you could promote to an engine, and once you were on that engine, boy, once you were a driver in Hillsborough, some places make them flip flop back and forth, but once you got promoted to driver, you were a made man or woman at that point. So
Yeah, that's a controversy in my part of the woods, because you come in as you're a firefighter paramedic, so they're paying you to do 2 jobs, but it's not really significantly more. Well, then they want you to drive, so you're riding up, which you know what that means. You're doing
Right.
the next person's job ahead of you, but they won't pay you.
they
And
will or
then
won't?
will
They
not.
won't pay you?
And then they want to promote you to driver engineer. So as a paramedic, I would have all the responsibility for you, the engine, the truck, the squad, all the EMS equipment, all the fire equipment, all the rescue equipment, and I would get no extra pay. And so we were really pushing back and saying, no, we're not doing it. So the county decided that, well, we just won't promote you. So I went and sat for, we had 2 paths. We had rescue captain and fire captain. And I sat for both tests, and the chief came out and grabbed a couple of us and said, you guys here, and I was one of them, are not eligible to take the fire captain's test. I was like, okay, why is that? He says, we don't have enough time riding seat on the engine. And I said, okay, wait a minute. Let me get this straight. I come in every day, and I'm told what truck I'm going to be on and what I'm going to be doing. And because I'm not an acting officer, even though I've been through all the officer classes, I've got the college degree, I can't sit for the same tests that these people that were my rookies are sitting for. He said, that's correct. Okay, that's good. So it wasn't shortly after that I left the department. I couldn't continue with that because there was too many people that were medicators, and so at that point I was done. So I went and flew for 10 years as a flight medic before coming back to the fire service.
Really? Where'd you fly?
Out of Atlanta, Georgia, there's a small aircraft company or air ambulance company called Medway Air Ambulance, and we fly worldwide on a Learjet. And so I did that. Well, actually, it was like 14 years. So yeah, I did that for quite a while. Love that. That was great.
That's cool. We have a few people. Well, not a few. 1 or 2 people on when I was on the job that would do that on their days off. Like if they had an R day coming up or something, they'd take a flight to like somewhere in South America, and it was on a jet, and it was sounded pretty neat. They got to see places in the world, but I was exhausting too when you're doing a fire department schedule. But as a full-time gig, that seems pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I was doing it part time too, and most of the senior men would know when I would call in sick. If I called in and said I've had some bad seafood, my stomach's upset, I'm sick, they knew I was out of the country. That was the code to tell them our plane is still in another country and I can't get back.
Yeah.
So, well, enough about me. Tell us about yourself. You wrote a book. What's it about?
Okay, so my latest, I have a long history. I wrote sci-fi and fantasy while I was still on the job, but years ago, like 20 years ago, maybe a little bit more now, I was talking to a guy in Hillsborough County, and he was a captain on a rescue. He was a rescue captain, one of our rescue captains, and we were working, and he said, "Man, I hope we sleep tonight because I got to go run down a skip tomorrow." And I was like, "You're a bounty hunter?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do bounty hunter work and PI work on my days off." And I was like, that's a story right there, And I was already writing, like I said, and I'd been thinking for a long time. I'm a big fan of the crime novels, like the Dennis Lehane and Michael Connelly and Raymond Chandler and stuff. I was like, Tampa would be a good place to set that kind of story. So when I heard that, I said, "Man, what a great character!" But I can't write that the way I want to until I retire. So years ago, The Seed was born, and then when I retired, I actually started writing hard-boiled detective stories that take place in Tampa. And the first one, Tampa Heat, is the story of Logan Walsh. He's an active duty firefighter who's a bail bondsman and a private investigator on his days off. And he and his dad get involved in a case that goes back 25 years to a real chapter in Tampa's history. So, and that takes off. I'm actually about 40,000 words into book 6 right now. I got 5 out.
Yeah. That's a lot of work.
I love it. It's a lot of fun.
But so it just came from one guy telling you what he did on his days off was your.
Yeah, I mean,
that's cool.
I think as a writer, you're always kind of looking for ideas. You're always kind of thinking, what's a what would make a good, like, people's names. Oh, that's a good name. I hope I remember that one later because I kind of like that one. So I do occasionally steal people's names, but yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that does that.
No, not at all. I'm like, that name. I should write them down because I usually forget later. I'm like, what's that name I was thinking the other day? I need a character right now. What is a name that I can use? Yeah.
I had a stack of sticky notes in my drawer at my previous job where I would like, oh, that's a name I've never heard before. I really like that one. Like just waiting for him to look through my drawer at some point. Why do you have all of these clients' names written down? Because they're cool.
Yeah. So you write? Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What do you write? What's your genre?
Little of this, little of that.
Oh, okay. A little of everything. All right.
Yeah, I'm mostly into like helping write with comics and stuff, but I have my own weird like romance novels that I like to do.
Hey,
she's not telling you her superpower. Her fiance is a comic book artist, so she.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Well, you have to send me some. I like comic books, so you have to send me your stuff. I'll take a look at it, or your links. Let's see if I can check it out.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's one thing. There isn't really any firefighter or paramedic comic books.
Not that come to mind. I can think of it, obviously movies and shows, a few books, but yeah, not comic books. Not that I can think of.
Yeah, it seems like that would be a genre you could also twist into a science fiction type thing too.
I have a friend who does a fire. I don't know how much of the elements he used. I haven't read it, but he uses fire and a firefighter as one of his urban fantasy characters. So that's pretty cool. He would occasionally call me, okay, how does this work in the fire department? Or text me, how's this working? And I would explain to him, in the best I could, what he was doing. So he's got a new book coming out soon too. So Michael Allen is his name. I didn't come prepared to do the pitch, but his name is Michael Allen. He does sci-fi and fantasy. The garbage, I can't remember. He's urban fantasy. I'd have to look it up. And I left my phone in the other room.
So we'll get the info on him, but
right.
yeah, we get a lot of we get authors on my other show. I get a lot of people with the paranormal. We've had musicians on. We had a musician on Wednesday night. He crooned Cheyenne. So
I'm his manager now. So.
Oh, all right.
She's gonna run away and leave me.
I'll be back in. I'll be back in 4 to 6 weeks.
Pays better.
We won't talk about it.
Yeah. So that besides for just I don't want to word this, the crux of the idea coming from your coworker, how else do you draw ideas?
So it really kind of depends. A lot of times, like the way that I typically write one of these stories is I come up with a crime. And there's a couple of ways that I can do that, but I have been known to borrow from a true crime show. Hey, I like that idea. Let's go in. I'm gonna bend that around and twist it and make my own, Or another one was the very first book. In book one, I guess I did bring my phone out here. In book one, I actually, that's based on an actual series of crimes that actually happened. I was new in the fire department, and this stuff was going on. We're just going to say it that way. And I was still in Pasco, as a matter of fact. And it was kind of common knowledge, I wouldn't call it an open secret because, I wouldn't say that we knew for sure, but there were some suspicions. And I thought, man, someone should write a book about that. Well, a couple decades later, that became the first crime inspiration for the first case in my series. So it was a lot of fun to write. I enjoyed it.
It's pretty cool. We had Wayne Miller on. He was an ATF agent, and he wrote about a lot of the crimes he solved as an ATF agent. He was actually one of the very first ATF agents in the Northeast that was trained in arson investigation, and he had some great stories.
Oh, I'll bet.
I still got to read his book. The stories that he came on and told were awesome.
Yeah. He even finished off with a paranormal story that still spooks me. So,
oh wow! What was his name?
Wayne Miller, right, Sha? I'm pretty sure it was it.
Yeah. I got a cousin named Wayne Miller.
Yeah, hold on. I still have a tab. I have a tab pulled up with his book still in it. I was actually looking it up the other day. He
worked up in the Northeast in Worcester 6. I'm sure you're familiar with them. He worked that fire. Oof. And he said that they were there days later. The fire had been extinguished, and of course, when they bring the firefighter out, it's covered in a flag. Mm-hmm. One pillar caught on fire and glowed red hot, and there was nobody there to even with suppression to put it out. And as soon as they get the firefighter out, it fell over and went out.
Really?
Yeah, it was a really spooky story the way he told it. So
the initial book that he came on to talk about was Burn, Boston, Burn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And these are true crime stories, sounds like?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's got another one out now that's called Bang, Boom, Burn.
Yeah, I saw that one. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, Burn, Boston, Burn was definitely interesting.
That was about the story out of the 80s, I think it was, when the firefighters were being cut. I think they even made Turk 182 movie out of it.
So it says it here, but it was because there were 264 buildings were burned intentionally.
Wow.
Fires were set.
You said 262? It's almost one a day in a year.
264, resulting in millions of dollars in damages and hundreds of injuries.
Wow. I know if you guys are familiar with sounds a little bit like the Dennis Smith. You guys are familiar with Dennis Smith?
I'm very familiar with Dennis Smith, yes.
Yeah. And he writes about when the Bronx was burning, the war years, they call that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a reference to Vietnam or I thought it was after Vietnam. I thought that was just an expression they used, but they called it the war years. So,
yeah, he was my inspiration. His very first book was more like a photo book. I think it was called just Firehouse. And it was just pictures of the guys in the station with little short stories after them and little short stories. It was, it was a big kids book basically. And it was the inspiration for me joining the fire. One of the inspirations, that emergency, joining the fire service. Years later, I wrote him a letter explaining that to him. I said, "You're the reason I did this."
You ever hear back from him?
Yeah, he wrote me a really nice letter.
Oh man, that's cool.
Because at that time I was working on doing some writing stuff too. I had went back to school, and he gave me some encouragement. So I've always kept the letter. Yeah.
Oh, that's neat, man. Yeah, I like Dennis. I like Dennis Smith. I've read all his stuff. I should say all his stuff. I've read, because I haven't seen that one, but I've read the two books that he wrote, and I was subscribed to Firehouse magazine, which of course was his for a long time. So.
Yeah, the only book I haven't read by him is Report from Ground Zero. I haven't been able to bring myself to read that one yet.
Yeah, I could not do that one. But Reported from Engine Company 82 is a classic. I've read that a couple times actually.
Yeah, it definitely is a great book. If you don't understand fire service in simple terms from back in the 80s when they did things that even we don't do now that are risky, it put it into some really common sense. I couldn't, after we had a fire, go in and not take a hot shower and not think about some of the descriptive scenes of him talking about the firefighters with the soot and being burned and stuff. And I was like, wow. And that was years later. So it's funny how an author can leave an impression on your life, even if you don't know them.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a big inspiration as a writer, I guess, because him and have you ever heard of Earl Emerson? You know Earl Emerson? That one might be more obscure.
Yeah, that one doesn't sound familiar.
He wrote. I thought they were good. They were good books, but he was an active duty Seattle firefighter, and he wrote primarily hard-boiled detective stories, and some of them were fireman themed, and I enjoyed those stories too. So yeah. Well, he's retired. I don't think he does writing. I don't think he does anything anymore. I think he's retired in the mountains somewhere. Good for him.
Yeah.
Well. I think it is very interesting though, with where you were saying how much like the author's influence on you, having never met them.
Yeah.
With like my favorite author who's out of West Virginia, with how she wrote, like the first book that I read of hers was so candidly about her life. Granted, she had a terrible upbringing, but it was like, well, then it makes it feel really okay to, write about your own personal experiences that aren't great and how far she came from it, where she was moved all around the country as a kid and then wound up back here in West Virginia, and they lived in some terrible conditions, and now she's making it good for herself. And it's just like, all right.
Inspiring.
Yeah, very much so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One name that comes to mind immediately is talking about that, the current vice presidential candidate, J.D. Vance.
Mm-hmm.
His book, Hillbilly Effigy, I think how it's pronounced. Great book.
Elegy, yes. Mm-hmm.
Elegy, yeah. Great book. And it was funny when I heard on the news they announced who running mate was. I'm like, wait a minute, is that the same guy that wrote the book? I didn't even know he was a politician.
Yeah, I haven't read that book, but I'd like to read it. Let's put it that way, because that's my, like I was saying before, my family's all Appalachian, and they all kind of cut from that cloth. So it'd be neat to read that, especially given all the other implications of who he is and the power and the heights that he's risen to and stuff. It'd be pretty cool.
Well, and it's funny, Glenn, because that coin that I told you I got was actually because of that author. It was out of the Welsh Fire Department, and she had whenever they moved back to West Virginia, she moved to Welsh. And I've probably read that book 20 times because it's so good. And on Audible, she reads it herself. But I actually found this, and it's out of the Welsh, West Virginia Fire Department.
Oh, I love that coin. I don't know if you can see that, Thad.
Yeah, that's cool. That's like a challenge coin there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's one of the things we like to talk about here on the show is all of us collect challenge coins. And so in fact, in my bag, I've got probably 24 if I run into somebody you want to trade with.
I don't think I don't have a challenge coin. I'm sure people in my department have made them, but I've never been around any of them in my department. I would be shocked if our special ops guys don't have challenge coins, but I've never seen one for my department. I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah, I'm thinking I just saw one the other day for your county, and the station logo was a shark with a mussel fin, and it's the boat station. It's got to
be 29 or 17, probably 17.
I think it was 17. Yeah, I saw that on Facebook the other day. I was like, that's a cool coin. So
oh, well, that would be right. Yeah, the boat station. So we had two boats, but the big boat is at 17. But yeah, so that would be cool. I would like it. They're special op by definition. That's a special ops unit. I'm not at all surprised that that's our most gung. You know how it is. That's the alphas of the alphas at those stations. So yeah, that is.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was at a hazmat station. I get it. And then
you can have that hazmat stuff. I got no interest in that.
I was a glowworm. I love that. Then they sent me to technical rescue, and I'm like, "What are you guys doing? Sticking my fat ass down in a pipe? No, and no."
Yeah, I actually, it got worse as I got older, which they say is a thing. But I actually tried out when I was in Pasco for the and I was an alternate. I don't know why I was. Well, I do know because I was too cowardly to tell them I didn't want to do it. But I enlisted on this team and I did a training where back when I was skinny, I went into, I think it was an 18-inch diameter pipe. It was tiny, and I had to put my hands I had to put my hands together above, almost like diving into water, and inchworm my way down. And let's just say I found out real fast. I'm like, I could see daylight, and I was incredibly uncomfortable. Like, can you imagine doing this in the dark? And I thought,
nope.
No, I can't. But I mean, but you don't tell everybody around you that that you're scared of something. So it never came up. I never had to actually go to the team. I never had to become certified. If I had, I probably would have had to tell them then. But as long as I was on the fringe, like on the call up list, I just let it go. But later when I was in the, I'm sorry, were you saying something?
No, go ahead. I'll tell you in a minute.
Nah, and later as I got older, I found that that claustrophobia, I got a little, right in my last year or two, I was like, some of these claustrophobic things I was starting to not like too much. So we had this drill where you had to climb through a chicken cage coop, and I did not like that at all. I was not happy with that. But
was that one where they would take and run speaker wire and electrical wire and all kinds of wire, and you got to take and get through it with your air pack on before running out of air?
No, that didn't bother me so much. They were practical life safety things. These were more like kind confidence builders or destroyers, I guess. But it was literally
Say,
like
how is that building confidence?
well, that you can do it. And I did successfully accomplish it, but it was like I couldn't tell you how big the cage was, but you had to go through these little tunnels, and you would go across the top, and you would have to go through these obstacles, kind of like what you're talking about, where they were different shapes, and you have to take the pack off and push the pack and go through. You know what I'm talking about, all on air. And it was at the end of a very strenuous, so you're already winded, and you had to go through it. And you would develop. You would start to develop a big sense of urgency that I gotta get through this. You would start to get that little edge of panic. But
Yes.
I did not enjoy it. Like when I was young, that was nothing. But when I was older, I was like, I don't like this as much. This is not any fun anymore. So.
Yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. During recruit school, we had to do the pipe drill, and just to see that we could do it, and it was hell. I think one of the worst ones for me is we had to climb the stick, the 110-foot tiller, all the way to the top, clip in, lock in, lean back, and this is back in the days where they could do this. They would spin the ladder 360 degrees while you were locked in, leaning back.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They didn't. I was right there with you until they spun. We did the same thing. I don't know if it was 100 foot, but 110 foot or whatever. It was, I think, a 75 stick, but it might have been bigger. But we climbed to the top, locked in, and leaned back with your arms out. But that was it. They didn't spin that thing. That I don't, I don't know. Maybe when I was young, I don't know if it would have mattered. But yeah, I'm with you, man.
I was like, this belt's better not be dry rotted.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of my career, they wouldn't even let you go up without for training without being on belay, which is ridiculous. But yeah, I remember the last drill I did, I was coming down and we were being timed, and they weren't paying attention when I was on belay, and I practically bounced down the ladder because they weren't paying attention. I was like, "Give me some fruit." They weren't giving me enough rope, and so I was bouncing out and pulling and bouncing out. And the chief's like, "You gave me 2 heart attacks while you did that." And I was like, "Hey, they were on belay, not me."
Yeah, we same thing. You couldn't go down a ladder without being tied off, which was probably good. We did actually have a couple people try to fall, so I guess it did save some injuries. But it is kind of like, well, at some point, we're supposed to be able to climb these every single day on scenes, right? So. And when we did company evolutions, we weren't tied off. I don't know, maybe they would have lost their mind about that, but we would climb up an extension ladder and nobody was tied off. But
we weren't tied off until the last 2 years of training, and I don't think it was after any injuries. I don't recall any. I mean, we even did firefighter bailouts, head first, going down the 35-foot ladders, and we weren't on belay or anything then. So, but now you can't do it. I guess it's probably because there have been so many injuries. So
yeah,
but you got to learn how to do it, and you got to learn how to do it without fear. And
I mean,
what the hell I was doing. So
yeah, my generation and before, maybe just a little bit after, we all talk about how it was almost a little like the Wild West. Our business was, and now it's a lot more for better, for worse. I think a lot of it's for the better. I don't know that I agree with all of it, but it's definitely it's a very different culture. It's not just about safety, but there's a lot of different aspects of the culture change in the fire department. And I'm kind of glad I'm getting out. I'm like, I'm good. I've had a good run.
Well, telling an 18-year-old kid now that he's going to go climb to the top of the ladder and do this, and he's going to like it, is a little bit different.
Different world.
Yeah. I mean, my fire academy instructors were all ex-Marine sergeants.
Mm-hmm.
They literally were ex-Marines, and those first 2 weeks.
Yeah, can you imagine that nowadays?
Oh my God, some of the things they said to us.
Oh yeah,
I remember you telling that story and just thinking of putting some
Yeah, they didn't like paramedics even in recruit school because I originally was on the EMS side, and then they needed the call volume or i.e. our budget, so they took over EMS. So we got all drafted in. Well, I had already been up in Northern Virginia and Knoxville, Tennessee, with fire departments. It didn't scare me. They lit us on fire as we were going in the burn drill, and that was back when they could use hay and diesel. And as right as we opened the door, the medic in front of me, they sprayed him with diesel.
No,
you can't do that now.
No, you cannot get away with that now. When I first got hired in Hillsborough, they had just gone through an EMS fire merger, and that was contentious. And it was both sides were kind of the problem. You had paramedics saying that firemen save furniture, and you had firefighters that saying that paramedics, couldn't, weren't tough or manly or whatever. So when I got hired with Hillsborough, I was assigned to a salty old captain who pretty much made known that he had no use for paramedics. But it was funny. I did something right because he would look at me, he would talk trash about paramedics, and he would look me in the eye and he would go, "But you were a fireman first. It's okay." Because I technically was a firefighter before. And he would look at me and go, "But you were a fireman first, so you don't count." And then he would go on trashing paramedics. And for a while, I was like, "Oh, that's cool." But after a while, it grated on me because, we're all on the same team here, trying to do the same thing.
Yeah. I had a captain right after I got released from recruit school. The second time, they made the medics go through twice. The second time, this building's burning smack up. It's a 4-story wood frame, and we got heavy fire on all floors. Ladder. He makes me ladder it with a 35-foot ladder. He says, "All right, we're going up and we're going in." And I'm like, "All right, Cap, whatever." Climb in, sound the floor, and I literally drop, and everything's glowing orange around me. And he's like, "Go, go, go." And I'm like, "Okay." And I crawl to the other side. And he says, "Now bail." I'm like, "What?" And so we bailed out the window and went down, and we come out. He's like, "Well, I'm glad to see you did that." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "I just wanted to see if you were doing it." I said, "They're busy putting out a fire up here. What in the F are you doing?"
I just wanted to see if you do it. There's some personalities in the fire department, boy. But.
Yeah. But you're exactly right. It was on both sides. And I was down the middle because my first career job with the fire department was in Northern Virginia, the Fairfax County Fire. I was a fire photo unit, and that was like right out of high school. So I was around the fire department. My uncle and my grandfather were both firefighters. I'm the only dumbass that hit my head and went to paramedic school. So, it didn't bother me. I wasn't fazed by it. When I went through the academy the first time, towards the end, the instructors were like, "You've done this before." I'm like, Yeah, I did it in Virginia and I did it in Tennessee. And they're like, "Why did you tell us?" I was like, "You didn't ask. It was none of your business." So, yeah, they at times would ask us to do stupid things, and I would look around and be like, "Are you sure? Are you sure? Okay, here we go." But you know what? Looking back now, that I sound like I'm an old man, but those were some of the best times, actually. I hated it. I was completely miserable at the time and wanted to punch somebody in the face, but those were some of the best times of my life.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the fire department a lot for about the first 21 years, 22 years, and then I started to get kind of tired of it. I started kind of weary of really just some of the stuff that you see on a daily basis. I just got tired of that. But it was good. I wouldn't do anything else. I wouldn't change my life in that regard. And
No.
I had a blast. 70, 80% of that job, I loved just about every minute of it. And even the last couple of years, even when I was looking for the door, I still enjoyed coming to work most of the time. I liked my crew. We had good people, good times. It's all about the people. And I had a blast.
You got a good station, good team.
Yeah.
it's family.
It is. It is 100.
Mhm.
You spend as much time with them as you do your family, if you think about it.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And there's no other job in the world that you'll get that from, because you could be dead asleep at 3 a.m. The next thing you're balls to the wall doing something, and these guys got your back. So and even I give DeKalb a bad rap about some things, but even there towards the end, they were lightening up on EMS. They realized, I think, a little too late, they ran off so many of them that they had to bring in AMR.
Ooh,
yeah,
private.
Yeah.
I think that's a growing pain that every fire department goes through. Just like I think I always say the thing that makes firefighters like you and I, we've never worked in the same places, but we have the same culture and we have a lot of the same experiences, shared experiences that aren't just fires. There's a lot of stuff that goes with being a fireman, and I think that, or firefighter, I guess I should say. But the thing that about the culture is, I think all fire departments had a hard time assimilating and making that transition from fire department to fire rescue on both sides. I think if you had a third service that merged with the fire department, they weren't happy about being with the firemen, any firefighters anymore. And I think that is not unique. I think that is universal. I think I know it's a TV show, but you mentioned it earlier. Emergency even touched a little bit on how the culture of the fire department resisted EMS, and I'm sure it worked, and I know it worked the other way in my experience. So,
oh yeah, I used to, when I was assigned to a truck company where the truck slept all night, I was buddies with them all, but we'd get a call in the middle of the night and I'd kick their bunk on the way out the door. So
I don't know if you can hear it, but there goes a rescue car right now.
yeah.
Station right up the road. So, I'm sorry, I got a little distracted there by the siren. You were telling me a story about a buddy in a bunk room.
Oh, I was just saying, when I was assigned to a station, a triple company, my buddies were on the ladder all the time. That was a tiller, so it was a senior aerial. They get assigned. They were permanent, and I would walk by in the night when we were going out and calling a med job, and I'd kick their bunk.
Oh yeah, that was pretty. We had all kinds of shenanigans like that. Lay on the siren before you leave the bay. Yeah.
We got locked out of the station one night, and so we just decided to pull up beside the bunk and turn on every light and siren. They're so mad at us.
Let us in.
Like, hey, yeah, we thought you guys changed the code. The button didn't work. It turned out it was a dead battery.
Yeah. Bad time for the battery to go dead.
Absolutely. But there's good times and bad with the departments. Somebody told me right as I was leaving DeKalb, because DeKalb has a retention rate. It used to be in the high 20s. It's now down into the low teens. And somebody said 10 years with DeKalb County is like 30 years with another department because of the things you see and do. And I thought they were crazy until I got away and realized that, for 15 years of my life, I missed. It was gone.
It's funny you say that. That's exactly what they used to say about Pasco when I worked. I think that's probably true of a lot of those departments. I assume, based on what you're telling me, that DeKalb feeds the bigger departments like Atlanta and maybe, I don't know, Fulton. Maybe Fulton's a better department. I don't know anything about the departments there. But if that, which surprises me, because DeKalb would have a really nice tax base, I would think. So you would think that they could have some pretty decent conditions and salaries, and that they would be well incentivized to make that happen. But maybe that was just Dunwoody. I don't know. So,
I think they didn't plan the infrastructure, and there was no planning by planning and development. We're just now opening up Station 27. No, I'm sorry, 26, 27, and 28 won't come for 4 more years.
In DeKalb?
In DeKalb, yes. Yeah, so, and at night when we would drop down with no rescues, I was one of 9 trucks. So, they just didn't prepare for it, and they still aren't prepared for it. And I read a recent report that said Atlanta is growing by 10,000 people a month. I don't know that you can plan for that.
A month?
Atlanta? You mean the greater area? The greater Atlanta area?
Greater Atlanta metro area, 10,000 people a month. So, and I don't know if that's the people they're busting in from the border or if that's people moving in for jobs, but it's growing. It's growing so fast. I told my wife as soon as she retires, we're moving. We're going to Florida.
My first thought was birth control, people. Birth control.
There is that.
I got bad news for you if you're coming to Florida to get away from the people. This ain't the place to do it. My county, I'm in Polk County, Florida. It is the fastest growing county in the country, or the second fastest. It's number 1 or 2 in the country. Wow. And I assume they're, for the most part, I think most of these people are coming from New York, California, places like that, where the morale, it seems to be lower. So those people are coming to Florida, and
that's a big thing. That's a big thing that's happening here too. Really,
West Virginia I didn't see that coming. I wouldn't see that. I would think that a lot of Californians and New Yorkers, I would think that they would. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I would think that West Virginia would not appeal to them very well.
Well, I know personally in this area, it's become more of a hot spot because of where Hawks Nest is a national park now. And there have been a lot more people, particularly from out west, coming out here because it's more scenic.
It is scenic. It's beautiful. It is,
and we have very nice people here. So.
Oh, I wasn't the people I was thinking about. It was just, you think California, you think metro, you think that they're going to have a hard time living, or that not that they would have a hard time living, but you think they'd be attracted to cities or metropolitan areas that, frankly, West Virginia is not known for having. But that may just be a bias on my part.
I will speak personally from living here my entire life. Where I grew up, you could not just go talk to somebody out and about that you didn't know. They would just look like.
Really? In West Virginia?
Walk on. Yeah. Where I grew up.
Surprises me.
But around here in now, if you're going into Raleigh County, don't do it. Don't do it. I warned you. But if you're in like Fayette or Nicholas County, I like to say, because it's basically you've got Fayette County, Nicholas County, Raleigh County, and it's like bad, good mix of the two. Like Raleigh County is really big, crappy people. Fayetteville, rather small, really good people. But then Nicholas County is like, I say it's like Beckley, but with all the people from Fayette County. Like it's huge, but it's got all the good people. And I said it since I moved here. As soon as you cross over the Kanawha County line into Fayetteville or into Fayette County, completely different world of people.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't been up. I'm not even sure exactly where Fayette County is. I know roughly where Clarksburg is, and I know Morgantown is more north, right?
That's Monongalia County, I believe.
I don't know what
so.
county, but it's north, right? It's on the north end of the states, north of Clarksburg.
Yeah,
I vaguely remember that, but yeah, it's got beautiful country up there. I do know that. I love the mountains. I'm a Florida boy, but I love the mountains. So
they're gorgeous. I just don't trust them.
The mountains.
I have watched far too many things and fallen down too many rabbit holes about the Appalachian Trail. It's beautiful. Don't trust it.
Oh well, yeah. They've had some dark history on the Appalachian trails.
I've listened to far too much Missing 411, and
Yes.
far too much of it takes place on the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah, I like the thing I like about the mountains is though that like I come from Florida, obviously, and I've been here my whole life, and I spent most of my life wanting to get out of here, to be honest. And now that I'm in a position where I probably could retire out of the state, I'm like, I don't know that I want to leave right now. I'm finding that I don't like the winters as much as I used to. I don't like the cold as much as I used to. I think I could still handle the cold weather. Don't get me wrong, at least by Florida standards. But, I'm not one of these people that bundles up at, 50 degrees and I'm wearing a full winter coat and a toboggan. But I do find that like when I go up north in the freezing temperatures, I'm like, this is very unpleasant. And I didn't used to be that way. I used to love the cold. I've been known to walk around in shorts in 29-degree weather, but those days are over.
You are insane.
Oh, I liked it back in the day. I really did, but I couldn't do it anymore. My fingers. I was out writing in it was sub freezing. I don't know what it was, 25, 28, something like that. And I was on my computer trying to write on the porch and enjoy the cool weather. And my fingers were hurting by the time I was 3 paragraphs in. And I'm like, I'm out. I packed all my stuff and went inside. So
No, it's anymore around here. It's just you just walk outside and it's like, my lower back's hurting. The rain's coming.
yeah.
I can feel it. I can feel it in my back. It's coming.
My son and his fiance at the time, they said they'd never seen snow, so they decided to move to Vermont. And this is their second year up here, and that's why I'm up here. And
You go from 0 to 100. He could have went somewhere in the middle. No, he just gets himself right in the middle of a nor'easter.
well, I love his first true snowstorm up here. He calls me. He says, "Dad, they're calling for a light snow." I said, "Oh, really?" He says, 4 feet, Dad. 4 feet. What do I do? And I'm like, "You moved up there. You're on your own."
Yeah. Figure it out, son.
But now they love
Call
it.
me.
And,
Talk to your neighbors.
yeah.
Find out what they do.
I will tell you this. I was surprised. I figured Vermont would have a lot of snobbish people. These are some of the nicest people I've met in my travels, anywhere I've been in the world. Just crazy. So,
New England
nice
has
they
New England. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, yeah. So it was just surprised me how, how nice they are. Just visiting in this little small town, it's like everybody knew you're not from around here. I'm like, no.
Oh, yeah.
My son moved here, and they're like, oh, you're his dad. I'm like, yeah. It's like,
we
I
know.
didn't expect that. Yeah, I didn't expect that. I expected that in the South, but not in Vermont.
Upstate New York is very similar too.
Yeah, outside of the city, yeah.
I would, that's the thing. Like the villages of New England have a pretty, from the outside, my understanding is they're very friendly. They're very welcoming, to strangers. I'm sure within limits, but they do have a very good reputation as far as being friendly. And now the cities, I would be, the bit like the Bostons and the New York cities, maybe less so, but the villages, the villages are supposed to be.
Well, I think it's a lot of like, oh, you're coming to visit here. Oh, come on. We'll show you. We'll tell you where to go.
Yeah, I can't do any of their accents, but they've got the coolest Maine and all those accents that their little euphemisms and stuff. That's a pretty neat culture up there. I think they'd be awesome.
My grandparents are from upstate New York, and I feel like my grandfather sounds like he's Canadian.
Hey?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
And my son is getting that now. It's crazy. So.
Yeah.
Every day for the past week, I've been going to the only little convenience store in town, and they don't sell Mountain Dews. And that's my drink. And I'm like,
I could see that.
So I asked the lady today, she's like, yeah. She's like, I was like, why do you not have Mountain Dew? She goes, well, the closest factory that distributes them is, I don't know, X amount of miles away. And I have to buy like a whole tractor and trailer load for this little town. I'm like, okay, got it.
Fair.
So, she's like, but I could try and get you one. I'm like, I'm not going to be here that long. So,
It's not that big a deal. Thank you.
yeah, I'll find a town that says
I'll
Mountain
give
Dew.
you a 10. You just go keep a 24 pack in the back room for me.
Yeah, it's funny. My wife and my daughter-in-law did an order from Walmart, and they're going to go pick it up in the big city of Burlington. So
I've heard of Burlington, Vermont.
That's nice. They have a baseball team that plays for 5 weeks because of the weather. Yeah, there's a lot of weird things that are different up here. So, well, now, how close are you to Miami?
To Miami? Half the state away.
Yeah.
We're on. So,
okay.
I'd have to do hundreds of miles. I'd have to do a search, but
okay.
We don't actually go there, so I couldn't even tell you how far the drive is. But I would think 4 or 5 hours drive, maybe a little more. Although I'm in Polk County now, so it might be a little closer because I'm more in the middle of the state than on the West Coast. But I grew up when I was in Hillsborough. It was, I think, about a 5-hour ride. But yeah, we're a good ways away from Miami. We've got several counties between us, and they're on technically the other coast. I'm still closer to the West Coast, I think, and they're East Coast. So yeah.
Tina's stories out of Miami were great.
And that's what I was going to ask. We had Tina. What's her last name, Shay?
Hold on.
Triple F firefighters. Fierce female firefighters.
Fierce female firefighters.
Yes, from Miami. Tina.
Miami-Dade.
I can't remember how I said. She was from Miami-Dade. Yeah, she was a lieutenant, wasn't she?
I believe so.
What's her name? Davies?
I don't think so. Hold on.
She, her thing is now, we all have our side gigs when we get out. I do this show, and then I sell challenge coins, make patches, and I'm working on a book. We all have our things. She started making dolls for firefighters, for little girls, to show that girls can be firefighters.
Oh,
it was a great story. So yeah. So, and
she's been on the Today Show, Kelly Clarkson Show, all kinds of stuff.
Oh wow, she's made the rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got.
She's.
I was looking her up here. I
know it's gonna bug me because I hear Tina. Guiler.
Guiler. Julier.
She is a lieutenant for Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, and she's been there since 1999.
Okay. 99. So yeah, she's approaching 25. I got hired in 96. So she's at 25. She probably has 25 years. Yeah.
She was telling me that they have a system there where
like she can go
come to work for 1 week, and then she could say, okay, I'm going to drop the rest of this month, and next month I'll come in for a week. And because she's so far in her career, they had a word for it, but they could just drop. Yeah, like, okay, I'm not coming in the rest of this month. So I must be nice,
or I think she had like the option to like go another 5 or 6 years or something.
Yeah.
So we have in Florida, we have a drop system that they just added to. It used to be 5 years.
I think that's what it was.
Right. It used to be 5 years, but now it's 8 years. So you can stay as long as you've gotten your minimums. I don't think you have to have the minimums to go in. But I can't remember. I didn't go into the drop, but you're officially retired. So it's called deferred retirement option plan. So when you go into the drop, your drop dead day, no pun intended, is a maximum of 8 years now. It used to be 5, 8 years out. When you hit that 8 years, you do not stay. You cannot stay. You cannot stay. used to be 5 years. And what that is she continues to show up for work, and her retirement builds up in an account. And then she is able, when she walks away, whatever that money for her retirement would have been, plus a certain amount of interest. It used to be a lot more than it is, but now I think it's back to 3% a year, but it used to be 6.5. So then they dropped it. Well, back then the economy was very different, and they dropped it down, and so now it's 3%. I think back to 3%. And when you leave, you get a lump sum payment of whatever that money, whatever is accrued, and it is usually a hefty sum. And I would think in Metro-Dade, 8-year retirement or 8-year deferred comp would be outrageous, but because they are one of the best paid departments in the state, I suspect. They used to be, but
and I think they cover quite an area too.
They do. They Miami and Miami Beach, the city of Miami and Miami Beach do have their own departments. I've seen both of their departments, but and I think there's a Barrier Island department too that might be an actual Miami something. Maybe that's Miami Beach. I don't know, but they have a collection of departments there. But they're the big brother of the department. That's for sure. They're huge, and I don't know. Maybe they do cover part of Miami. I'm not familiar with what all they do down there.
And she's made it up into admin, and she's a lieutenant, I think, in inspections.
Oh, okay.
So she's got like her own take-home car and everything. So,
well, that would be, man. That's the way to do it. If you're gonna do 8 years in the drop, that would be the way to do it. Because I can't imagine riding a fire truck into my 50s and 60s. That would be no.
The last time I went through the fire academy, I was 48, and they were like, "Have you fell and hit your head?" And I'm like, "I just wanted to prove to myself I could do it."
Yeah. No, I can't imagine going back through all that now. I guess it makes me a little sad. I'm not state certified anymore. I've been out of the fire department too long. I think 2 years is the max. I've been out 3.
Yeah.
And actually a little more than 3. And the paramedic, I still occasionally teach paramedics. My daughter's in EMS, and she's an EMT right now, but she's going to medic school. And I might stay on the college because I'm in the college. Technically, I'm still an instructor there. I took a sabbatical to make this business, and the business is going great. But
Good.
I may go back. Well, I'm almost certainly going back to teach her at least some of her paramedic school. Probably a lot of it, like all of it, if they'll let me do it. And they probably will. They probably will. And then I will. I'll probably have to help. I'll do other stuff. I won't just be like, well, I'm just here to teach my daughter. That's not how that's going to work. But I'll probably focus on the medic class just because it's. I think I've earned that. I've been around a long time. I think I could probably pull that favor. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed teaching too. I did that for a little while, and the only problem in Georgia is there's just not enough students for schools. So that was
really
for me. Georgia's adopted some really stupid rules here after COVID and ruined EMS. You don't even have to be a first responder to be on an ambulance now. You can be a driver and have an EMT, and you've got a basic unit post-COVID. So yeah, they've screwed the whole system up, and people were banned. So, but COVID changed fire EMS. I mean, 2008 changed fire EMS, but COVID really changed fire EMS. So
yeah, it's changed a lot. I will tell you that I would be willing to bet that Florida, or at least my part of Florida, but I think Florida in general, has changed the least. Because we had a couple of things that have changed. Like we've got some, well, I say we had when I was there, we had some enhanced protocols that were very strict during COVID. Like we responded and did very specific things. during the pandemic, that operation. But once we step back from that, it's all the same still. It's not any different. We do kind of have those in place for outbreaks. I guess we could reactivate that stuff, but we don't day-to-day operations. I don't think it affects them us at all, or at least it didn't.
I think it depended on your department. Some of the departments had officers that were so scared. I mean, if you had a firefighter that was exposed, they would put the whole shift, the whole station, on quarantine. You couldn't come in for 2 days. Well, then it turned around, and next thing you know, we don't have anybody to cover this. So they went from hot to cold with it and couldn't figure out a safe way to do it. I mean, even in the beginning, when there was the N95 mask shortage, and I had been in a meeting in January prior to this, and I said, "Look, this is coming to our area," and they're like, "No, we're a little county in South Georgia. This isn't going to happen." I said, most of our employees work for Hartsfield Jackson Airport, the world's busiest airport. Most of our residents, work at the airport. They're going to bring it here.
It's coming.
And, they didn't wake up and realize it, and they were during the shortage of N95s. One chief came around and gave us a paper bag and a masks at the end of the shift. Spray Lysol in the bag, put your N95 in there, put it in the locker out in the bay with your gear. And I said, "Chief, can I have that in writing?" I said, "I came from a big city department just north of here, and I was the tox medic. I can guarantee you that that's not good information."
Yeah, there was a lot of confusion about that. We went through some of those same things, like you've been exposed, not even symptomatic. That guy's been exposed, and he's been in the room with all of you. You're all quarantined.
Yep.
And and then they're like, "Wait a minute, we don't have anybody to run the calls. So come back." And so it was a trial and error thing, and they got it figured out. But for a while there, if you wanted overtime and you could avoid exposure, man, it was to be had. But yeah, they had to figure it out. But they did. And as far as the protocols that in my department, they did they followed the CDC's recommendations, but those changed sometimes on the daily, man. They were like, "Well, yesterday, remember we said that? Yeah, that's out." This is the new thing. But yeah.
They got silly. We had a paramedic. He was running late, and he come right in, and there towards the end of this, we had this little facial scanner we had to stand in front of. We would clock in, and it would scan our face, and it would check our temperature.
Yep.
And he had his coffee right up next to his mouth when it did the scan. They called. They shut the station down. The chief showed up.
Really?
Everybody there. They were like sealed the station. We were like, "What the hell's going on?" Like, and they had a picture of him. They were like, "He's got a temperature of 104." And we're like, "What?" And then they realized it was his coffee mug.
That is funny.
They get carried away with it, but like I said, there was no other job I would rather do in this world. So
no, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, we weren't that strict. I was, as a company officer, I was expected to take everybody's temperature every day. So one of the first things that I would do was go around and beep, 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 scan everybody's head.
Yep.
But I don't even. I don't know. I don't remember if I had to fill a form out and send that in or log it in the book. I don't remember anymore. Probably just logged that I did it. Yeah, I think it was a form. It was probably a form. I don't remember. I don't miss that part. I didn't miss. That was that
was towards my getting out. I got injured on the job, and that was. I'm glad I got out at the height of it. So
yeah.
But yeah, I got injured and taken out, so I never went back. So I miss it every day. But yeah, it's part of the job. So, well, Thad, we have kept you a lot longer than I intended.
Oh, okay.
It's gone by so quick. Well, I like to only keep people for about an hour because we're asking you for your time for free. So, we don't want to
I appreciate
make anybody uncomfortable. And Andy has talked way too much during this.
Yeah, I noticed it.
Shut up, Andy. Jeez.
All right. Keep it up, Shay. No more pickle stuff for you, Shay.
Fine.
Up where Andy is, most of your departments up there are volunteer, aren't they, Andy?
We're career and volunteer.
Mostly get combination.
Yep.
Yeah, my department was combination for a few years, for many years. Let me rephrase that. And during my career, they absorbed the volunteers. So we picked up like 6 stations almost overnight. But,
We only have one station in the county that is still completely all volunteer.
Oh, really?
Everybody else is volunteer/career.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what you got to. That's probably what has to happen to keep it. People just don't have time to volunteer anymore. If you can't,
Exactly.
if you can't compensate them, they can't be there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or they find jobs in the big cities.
Or they find jobs in the big cities. That too. I keep teasing my wife that I'm going to go live in some little village and be a paid on-call fireman or paid call. Is that what they call that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do not want. I don't. I love the fire department. I do not want to do it anymore. It was a lot of fun. But
my wife got mad at me because right after it was determined that I was injured and wasn't going to be going back, I started applying for chief's jobs in little towns. And
Yeah.
I come this close to having one. And
Oh, really?
Looking back, I'm glad I didn't get it. But she's like, "What are you doing? You've lost your damn mind."
yeah, I love the fire department. When I was there, most of the time I was there. But when I got ready to go, I was definitely ready to go, and I thought I would miss it, and except for some of the people and a handful, like the thing that I miss, if I had to pick something, a task, not people, the thing that I missed about the fire department is running emergency. That I miss. That is cool. That was fun. But most of the rest of that stuff at this point, like I don't miss the fires. I certainly don't miss the tragedy and all that. There was stuff that I liked, but I don't miss it. I don't miss it like I thought it would.
I think the best is dinner time around the station if you got a good crew.
Yeah, dinner time is
I miss that the most. I miss that the most. And running emergency. That was my opening line. Was an instructor. So I said, "This is the greatest job in the world. You get to drive fast and cut all the clothes off hot chicks." So.
Oh well, yeah, but that works both ways. You get to cut the clothes off a lot of people you don't want to.
Yes, you do. So,
But
there's out there that get sick.
I count the meals as more of a people thing, you know that. But I get what you're saying. You're right. I would put the meals ahead of that. But like outside of the people, like my task, like I enjoy that. I like that. I remember that fondly. I love telling the old war stories of fires, but I wouldn't want to go into another one. No, I'm good. So
I don't know. I still miss it, but I guess it's one of those things I'll have to miss the rest of my life. So it's a passion.
I have a cousin in Ohio, and he's, I don't know how much older. He's a little older than me. He's still like, oh, I love it. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm proud of you, brother. I'm happy for you. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm out. I'm good. I've had enough. But yeah, man, I could sit and talk about this stuff forever, but I guess I should go to bed. I've got to be up in the morning to do a show in Ybor City, so I gotta be up fairly early tomorrow. So,
okay.
But thank you guys very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. And Andy, bro, you need to chill out, man.
Yeah, no.
Don't talk so much.
He tends to take over the whole show. So
He does. I noticed that.
I have to mute him sometimes. So
you got to cut him off. He just keeps trailing on.
Yeah. Well, that's usually my job. I'm usually the one that doesn't shut up, as you've probably noticed. But well, thank you guys very much. You all have a great day.
You too.
You do the same. We'll promote your books and hopefully get you some sales.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right. Is there anything else any other questions?
Where can people get your books at?
Oh, that's a good question. So I'm on. You can actually go to thaddiazauthor.com. I got a purchasing page there. I make a little bit more when you buy off of that page because those are affiliate links. But basically, my business is exclusively on Amazon right now. That is going to change, but if you go on Amazon, my ebooks, I'm in Kindle Unlimited, but also my print books are exclusively through them for the moment. That is going to change in the coming months. But
so buy them through the website.
if you can, yes. I get a little bit more that way. So thaddiazauthor.com. And but again, I'm on Amazon. So if you look me up on Amazon, it's Tampa Heat or the Cigar City Case Files. Tampa Heat is book 1. Cigar City Case Files is the name of the city. Is the name of the series. So you can find me. Just look up my name, Thad Diaz. I cling to that top 100 by my fingertips as far as my fingernails in the genres in my different categories. So that's good. That's exciting stuff. So
very much so.
Yes, thank you. So
well, we will definitely put the links in the show description when I fix it. So
all right, I appreciate it. All right.
Well, Thad, thanks for coming on. And if when your next book drops, if you want to come on, let us know. We'll have you. It was a good time.
All right, I'll let you know. I'm hoping for November of this year. So yeah, I'll get back with you.
Okay. All right.
Cool. We look forward to it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Thanks.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I could tell war stories all night, so I miss it. So
they're always interesting to hear other people's.
Yeah, it is because I meant to ask him about if he knew how different fighting fire down there was versus the fighting fire up here because their building construction, it's built so much stronger, I guess, because of the hurricanes and stuff. And so those concrete structures hold the heat. So,
well, and I was thinking, I don't know how much the humidity and everything plays into it.
Oh, yeah.
So that too.
But I think I would rather fight a fire on a 100-degree day than a 20-degree day. So, well, I see.
Is there that significant of a difference?
Yeah, I've had it to where when you come out, you're so hot, you strip down and get out of your turnout gear. You go to put your jacket back on, it's frozen. That is miserable. That is absolutely miserable. So. Spank Monkey loves you.
She's trying to ignore it. Can you tell, Glenn?
She's taking notes. I see what she's doing down there. She's like, all right.
I'm just adding him to the list.
Oh God, you're on a list, Spank Monkey.
She's getting ready. Oh,
you shut up.
So, Andy, have you got any new coins this week?
No, I don't.
Well, shame on you. Have you got any recent ones, or you just not bought any, or?
I just haven't been able to get any yet.
What about you, Shay?
Well, I was looking through eBay, actually. That was where I found my other one. And I was just looking to see if there were any different West Virginia ones out there. And Lord, I'm trying to hold this up to the mic, thinking that this is where my light is. I'm like, why can't I see that any better? But this is from the FBI National Academy of West Virginia.
Oh, nice.
Cool. That's nice.
Yeah, so I thought that was a cool find. Yeah, those are my 2 new ones. Did I already show you my slightly inappropriate one?
I don't remember. I'm hoping that I can get a couple of the Vermont ones when I get to meet up with the Officer Farva. Oh yes, that was the one you showed us because of the paint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still really like that elephant though. That looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. You know, Spank Me Mommy, she can actually see the chat over on the right.
Is he just wanting you to tell me?
Yeah, he's wanting me to say it in my voice. So. Maybe that's part of the thrill for him. Me saying it to you. Maybe that's what it is.
Could we choose something else other than olive oil? Maybe.
Oh, pickle juice. I had to say it.
Thank you.
I love it. Pickle juice, I'm out. Nope.
It would get a little overwhelming for me. Just
whipped cream. That's interesting. I ran a call like 2 or 3 in the morning.
God, I don't even want.
No, I'm gonna tell you, it's too late. This woman called and said that she had a bug in her ear, and I was grumpy paramedic that was on like 25 calls already. I had a student and a rookie, and they were looking in her ear and they couldn't see anything, and I'm like, oh, this is absolute bullshit. And without even thinking, I grabbed her head, had her headlock. I had my flashlight, and I looked down here and I'm like, Jesus Christ, there is a bug down there. And so my first idea
she's just like,
yeah, well, I'm having to hold on to her because I mean, imagine having something moving in your ear. And it was like wrestling. So I had her headlock, and my first idea was, well, maybe the bug will come towards the flashlight. Yeah, that didn't work. So I said, and I'm thinking in my head, what can we kill the bug that won't hurt her, blah, blah, blah. And I said, hey, do you have any cooking oil, vegetable oil? And without missing a beat, she turned, looked at her son and said, hey, go in the bedroom and get the cooking oil. And I'm like,
why? Okay, why?
I don't know.
Just have her like that. Okay, ma'am, first, why is it in the bedroom? Why is it in the bedroom? Why?
Those are and second, where's the cameras?
No. Yeah,
oh, shoot, Glenn, I'm sorry I knocked over the tripod while I was in there.
My medical advice, babe, is put some of that Wesson oil in your ear, sleep on your side. Yeah, I didn't tell her that, usually when those animals die, they bite and piss and shit themselves. So it's going to be a hell of a ride.
Probably for the best.
Didn't take her to the hospital. She was on her own. So that did not warrant an ambulance ride.
Lord.
I have many stories.
No, I'm just these men.
It's not me. So, well, are they following you on the radio station too, at least?
I don't know. I can't see that.
Well, they should be sending you fan mail telling you how great you are.
Well, their fan mail goes to bobbydizzle.com.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, any and all rated fan mail goes to bobbydizzle.com.
There you go. You know what we should do? What is our topic for tomorrow night's show?
I haven't titled it yet, but me and Amanda came up with horrible dating profiles.
Well, here's an idea. What if I opened up a link so that some of our chat people could come in and tell about their horrible dating profile?
Oh boy.
if any of them are brave enough to.
I don't know if I'm brave enough for that.
She might be sorry.
just excuse me. I'll be over here.
Well, that is a medical procedure. So Shay should have a fan mail address set up by now. So
I don't need any of your fan mail.
yeah, we could open it up so there's no picture. There was just audio. That would make for an interesting show. But most of the chat is going to be up in Rochester, so probably Shay, you're killing me. Would
What?
nothing.
What?
It won't be in the chat. So.
What?
Yeah, just your vape. That's all.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's flesh colored.
It's
Wait a minute. They said that your compliance isn't a factor in this. So, well, okay.
Thanks, guys.
So, well, let's ask the chat directly. Do you have any horrible dating stories? Any that they would like to share? We can make this happen, Shay. Oh, well, wait a minute. Hold on. We'd have to do that in the last 2 hours. We can't do it in the first 2 hours because we're going to be FM friendly. And I can't trust that I would be able to get on the mute button.
I was going to say, if it's the first two, this could be really interesting. Who knows where the ratings will go?
Well, how's the bottle going to get there in the emails? What I want to know. So, is it a picture of the bottle? Is it a big bottle? Like a quart
No,
jet?
he is sending a small bottle with it.
But in the email?
No, in the mail to my fan mailbox.
Oh well, Bobby.
Wow.
I've got a caller out on here. So Amanda texts me after she went to get her tattoo done.
Is she
And she said, "I don't think so." And she said, "Am I drunk or does this woman look like Angela?" And she does. Oh gosh.
We'll have to work.
Yeah, see,
box.
he even specified in the regular mail.
Yeah, I guess I didn't read it right. Yeah, my glasses. I'm too far away from my normal screen. So, Andy, is there a fire somewhere?
No, it's probably just an EMS call.
You had somebody asking for their advice on that.
On.
Hold on, where was it? So someone said, Andy, could you please add your expertise? If a fire was hot, how close shall I get?
You don't. If you want to burn up, jump in it.
I guess it depends on what you're wearing. In that package, his package. Okay. Well, we'll have to. We need to get you a PO box.
It just has the Andy Samberg and Justin Timberlake. It's my dick in a box.
Oh, never mind. Yes, you did. I did. It's a chat not figured out that I'm pretty old and don't get half of these references. I lived a very sheltered life.
Need we tell them about your incident last night?
No.
Andy might have an opinion on that.
It was interesting.
All right, what happened? Tell me.
I don't know what she's talking about.
Oh, I gotta remember how.
If you can tell me while laughing.
So that one's for Andy, right? that one was for Andy.
And I got something for you.
Oh God! Don't tell them that. You must specify.
I'll just be backstage. I'll arrange.
Oh no! So Spank Me Mommy was in the chat last night, telling us about some of his activities, and he didn't understand how fisting works.
Well, I mean,
Oh my God.
this guy has to be like friggin' Popeye, like one big arm. By the way.
I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
Oh,
Oh no! See, that would be me doing it at the Christmas party, though.
We should all try and figure out a common place and meet. You know, I'm the furthest away, I think. So
that might not be a good idea.
I will have my taser with me.
I don't bite. You've already seen the wife abuse me. Come on. She tried to kill me 2 nights ago, for Christ's sake.
No, then I've got to think of a good Lonely Island one to do at the karaoke party. Then
I can't get to the Sportcat Con. Absolutely. So it would have to be somewhere like I don't know, Middle Virginia or something. That would be kind of close. Like some rural town in Middle Virginia. We could take over a country and western bar for a weekend.
Oh, I'm gonna have to buy more gummies for that.
Are gummies legal in Virginia?
I don't know.
I might try my first gummy. So.
Oh God.
I'm retired.
Oh Lord.
I'm retired. I should try it now, and I should try it on one of our shows, so that
I really feel like you should.
So if I start to die, somebody can call my wife and tell her to take him to the hospital. That would probably be an interesting show.
Yeah, I'm still contemplating which Lonely Island song I would sing for karaoke.
I don't know. I don't think I have a karaoke song. Oh, maybe. What is that? It's a Jimmy Buffett song. Maybe I could. I know some of that. You listen to my radio.
Are you singing Cheeseburger in Paradise or something?
5 o'clock somewhere.
5 o'clock somewhere. So. Yeah, I can't even sing to myself in the shower. So it's the cat leaves the house. So yeah, Sportcat Con. I like the idea of that. Yeah.
Yeah, just too many options. Too many options for me to choose from. I'll just do a compilation.
I'm not. No, Roxana, I'm not.
Get out of my head.
You know, I don't think
I will neither confirm nor deny.
Oh God, I love Friday nights.
Oh, these Friday nights are fun. Wait till Saturday night. So.
I know.
I just have to remind the chat, the first 2 hours, I have to remain FM friendly for WDJY and Radio Fairfax. Now, from 2 hours, 1 minute, fuck it, it's game on.
Let the battle begin.
I'll make sure to get I'll make sure to get the second gummy going at like an hour and a half in.
True. Andy, is Brenda got a show going right now?
I think she does.
When she hopped off the
Chat
and ignored. I love it. So, at 2 hours, 1 minute. So Whoa, Chris 48, you've got what on the playlist?
Oh, yeah, I do. Why do people remember these things?
We're building a fan base, and this is how we do it. And I gotta say,
it doesn't mean anything at all that I also happen to know all the words to it.
Yeah, I don't. Is it a Taylor Swift song? Who's asking?
No. Wait, hold on. I wonder if I can find a sound clip from that.
Oh God.
Go ahead. We haven't been thrown out of Russia on this show.
Oh, hold on. Let me see.
Yeah.
Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house.
There you go. There you go. All right. Yeah. I guess in the chat doesn't realize that on the Big Brother show, for something we've done 2 shows in the past month, we've been banned in Russia. And I don't know why. I have no idea why. So.
Oh, hold on. I got to try this one out.
Wop, wop, wop. That's some wet ass pussy.
I like it.
I like it.
Oh, hold on. This is a longer one.
From the top, make it drop. That's some wet ass pussy. Now get a bucket and a mop. That's some wet ass pussy. I'm talking wop, wop, wop. That's some wet ass pussy. Macaroni in a pot. That's some wet ass pussy. Huh?
Yeah, that's gonna get us a ding.
Nothing was shown.
That's
Yeah.
true.
There was no nipple.
Exactly. Andy was driving to it, so I feel like do you remember, well, you may not, Cheyenne, back in the days when AOL chat was a thing and a bunch of people would just get in a room and say stupid shit? I feel like that's what the show has digressed to. So
But I love it.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. I don't have, it's not. She's already asleep. What the fuck am I going to do for the next 8 hours?
No, there used to be
a thing, though. I don't know. Wake her
Here
up.
he goes again, Shay.
Oh God, nope. Not even gonna say anything.
When that grandkid of his gets old enough, he might be sorry.
In the era of TikTok.
Yeah. Well,
but what I was saying, there used to be a website called Game Sloth that had like stupid little games that like at school we would go on there and play, but turns out that they basically had a big AOL chat room in it. So Lord only knows the people you would talk to in there.
Oh yeah, and I'm old enough to remember ICQ. That was before AOL, so that was fun. You never knew who we were going to talk to there. So some interesting stories.
Very much so.
I remember this will really show my age. Back during when they had rotary dial phones. I know you've never seen one of them. You could dial your own phone number and it would be busy.
I'm not that young.
Yeah, you're pretty young. You could dial your own
I know what a rotary phone is.
Yeah, so do I.
Okay. Well, you would dial your own phone number.
Yeah, we had one.
Oh my God. I haven't had one of those in 30 years.
You froze.
Yeah, he's froze. Glenn hit the glacier.
I'm not moving over on the board on the door for him.
I guess we're taking over the show now, Shay.
All right. I don't have access to Streamlabs yet. We can't do that.
Hi, Glenn.
Oh, he might.
Fine,
Oh,
don't-
he
wait a
was
minute.
back there for a minute.
The Mountain Dew probably finally kicked in, or whatever the hell he was drinking. Oh,
All right.
he gone. I'm sure we'll be getting a message. Oh, damn.
I don't know what the hell's going on.
Neither do I.
I'm telling you, am I still frozen?
No, you're good.
Okay. Well, I don't know if anybody could hear me. So,
Yeah, we can hear you.
I meant before y'all were saying I was frozen, I was like, I can hear you guys.
No, we couldn't hear that.
Ah, okay. You want Andy on bottom? Is that?
What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
Put Andy back. And I said, do they want Andy on bottom? Is that what they want?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, Jesus.
You've got a stalker now. My only hope is Andy's a girl. So,
And somehow, I very highly doubt it.
well, maybe they have an arm like Popeye. I don't know.
Oh.
Well, what time does the Uncle Rico show in tomorrow? So everybody can come over here and tune in. Well, they've got the special tonight.
Salty Dog said that he would be back over tomorrow. So
okay, well, they can tell him to hop over in the Discord, and I have horrible signal up here, so I haven't been able to watch any shows. But yeah. Once you played that, everything froze. I guess that was it. You did it. Tomorrow's going to be a long show. Okay, well, we will be here from 9 till at least 11. After that, who knows?
That's what she said.
Yeah. The shows start tomorrow at noon and then Dabbles tomorrow night. So, yeah, that's stiff competition. We'll have to wait our turn and do it another week. We won't be able to drag in the hordes.
Well, we'll have to see.
Yeah. There'll be a few stragglers, and we love our loyals, and we appreciate all of them coming over from Uncle Rico. When I get back in town, I got to talk to some of them about some stuff, so we'll see if maybe we can do some kind of stupid back and forth thing. Oh, he said he'd watch it on tape delay for you. I like it.
I'm not complaining.
No. You're going to be jealous when I get another young lady on the show, aren't you?
No, I somehow don't think there'll be a comparison.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Hopefully you won't wear a sweatsuit tomorrow. So hopefully you won't wear a sweatsuit tomorrow.
No. I've already been told I'm not allowed to.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, everybody remember to like, follow, share, and subscribe. Well, drop me an email. We can make it happen.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, drop me an email. I haven't put anything up there lately since I broke the phone lines a few weeks ago. And you can okay, hold on, Andy. You can send sexy voicemails to Shay at the Shay Speak Pipe. And if they're really crazy enough, they may go out on radio. You never know.
Look at Shay. She's trying not to laugh.
Because it's hard to.
She said hard.
It's hard.
That's true.
That's what she said.
All right. Well, I'll give you 2 ways to get on the show. You can do the voicemail, speakpipe.com, and you can hold your tongue. Well, okay. Speakpipe.com/Sportcat or speakpipe.com/paranormalguys. Put that up there again. No, that's the tip. Well, I mean, if they want to tip the show.
I'm sure they would.
Only the tip. Only just.
Not the whole thing. Not the whole thing.
All right. He's going to do that tomorrow night, too. I can see it coming.
Probably.
Probably
Several times.
Probably. Well, and you can also shoot the show an email that way. I'll forward it to Shay. So we'll get it to her. So, well, all right. Well, I'm glad you can speak nice and you. I don't even understand it. All right. Well, I'm going to get us out of here.
He's saying he could be appropriate if necessary.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm not opposed.
Which I doubt.
I'm not opposed to opening it up and letting people. We did have a toll-free number there for a while, but we don't anymore. So
it's not too old.
I broke it. Roswell would be the new one. All right. Well, Andy's going to go to a burning building. I'm going to go out in the woods and look for Bigfoot. What are you doing, Shay?
I'll be here. Awaiting my fan mail.
Gonna have to let me know. All right, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. We love you guys. We appreciate everything you do for us. We will see you Saturday night, 9 p.m. till 11.